Out of nowhere, a sudden wave of panic or lethargic depression sweeps in. From the inside, it feels like a massive external force, attacking your mind, a heavy weather system you are completely powerless against. This experience originates within the internal machinery of the brain. You are witnessing a momentary malfunction in a highly complex mechanical system. Cognitive behavioral therapy maps this system using 4 interconnected components: thinking, behavior, mood, and physical functioning. These parts form a continuous, interdependent circuit. A change in one node forces an immediate reaction in the others, creating a feedback loop of biological and psychological energy. Because the brain operates as a closed system, the point of failure can be isolated. By tracing the energy through the loop, you can identify where to intervene. We track this circuit in real time. You think someone is hurt. That thought pulls your mood into terror, accelerating your heart. It also runs in reverse. Climbing stairs elevates your heart rate. Misinterpreting that exertion as a heart attack yanks your thoughts into panic. Our brains often accept these internal false alarms as undeniable reality. We react to the feeling without pausing to check the underlying facts. Cognitive behavioral therapy uses a psychological microscope to intercept this process. It lets you freeze the frame and run active experiments on your own reactions. Analyzing your symptoms with this level of clinical distance provides the evidence needed to challenge the root of the distress. The first experiment involves gathering hard data. The goal is to prove that physical routines directly influence our background moods, especially during a depressive episode. Using a daily activity log, you record your actions hour by hour and rate your mood on a scale of 1 to 10. This tracks exactly when your mood objectively lifts or drops. Depression often leads to social withdrawal and inactivity. The log frequently reveals that this isolation serves as a hidden fuel source that sustains the low mood. By identifying the moments where your mood score improves, you can reverse engineer your schedule. You deliberately increase the activities that yield a measurable sense of mastery or pleasure. This data reveals that mood is a reactive variable. It fluctuates in direct response to the specific routines you choose to follow. The second experiment targets anxiety by isolating the catastrophic what-if thoughts that act as the ignition switch for panic. You use a thought record to cross-examine your inner monologue. Instead of accepting an anxious thought as fact, you weigh it against objective evidence. You start by mapping the extremes. Define the worst-case scenario on one side and the best case on the other. Then look at your historical data to find the most likely outcome. That marker almost always drops firmly in the middle. Neutralizing an extreme thought with evidence physically breaks the anxiety circuit. When the brain realizes there is no imminent threat, the heart rate naturally begins to lower. Sometimes logic is insufficient. Severe phobias and panic require undeniable physical proof to convince the nervous system that a situation is safe. This is a fear ladder. It ranks triggers from easiest to hardest, using a subjective units of distress scale. You move from a score of 10 up to 100, facing progressively more difficult scenarios. During exposure and response prevention, you expose yourself to a trigger and strictly prevent yourself from escaping. You remain despite the urge to run. The objective is biological. You must stay in the discomfort until your measured anxiety level drops by half. By staying put, you force the nervous system to recognize the false alarm. This physically rewrites the body's automatic defensive reactions. These 3 experiments, tracking activity data, cross-examining thoughts, and field testing fears, allow us to analyze our own mental health through a clinical lens. Anxiety and depression act like a funhouse mirror, warping reality into false threats. By comparing these distortions to the evidence gathered in your experiments, the brain learns to prioritize facts over catastrophic assumptions. Cognitive behavioral therapy functions as a skill-building process. It provides a toolkit for long-term self-management. Through consistent daily practice, the brain's immediate reactions begin to align with the evidence gathered during these experiments. You are training the machinery to respond to the world as it actually is. Mastering the ability to intercept your thoughts and alter your behaviors turns you into your own lifelong investigator. You have the tools to analyze the circuit, gather the data, and drive your life forward.